with you. Okay, so we'll start with a PowerPoint. Let me see here. And I think all of you guys are muted, but go ahead and just stay muted for now. Okay. Okay, so I think all of you line up with who I think is supposed to be here. So you guys are all supposed to be in Bio 101, so welcome. This isn't quite the way I thought we would be starting this semester. I was hoping we would at least be hybrid, but that's okay. Quick introduction for me, just so you know who I am. Again, my name is Kelly Williams. You can call me Kelly, you can call me Professor. I prefer if you don't call me Miss Kelly or Professor Kelly, just because that makes me feel a little bit more like I'm teaching kindergarten or something. So just call me Kelly, honestly, it's totally fine. But my introduction, I've been here for about 10 years. I moved from Arizona. I went to Arizona State. I got my bachelor's in biology and psychology. I got really into neuroscience, and I'd always loved marine biology. That was kind of my end goal. So I was like, okay, I'll move to Hawaii and I'll do basically neuroscience with sharks. So that's what I came out here to do at Manoa. Got my master's over there, researching shark behavior and sensory biology, physiology, all of that good stuff. So that's a little bit about me. I have a feeling none of you probably are in a similar boat, although we might have a lot of psych majors in here. So I always love psychology if you guys like talking about that. But a little bit about me and my background, and I will do a little bit more of an introduction at the end, not so much for me, but I'll have you guys introduce yourselves just so we can kind of put a face to the name. And so you guys can get to know each other too. Okay, so for this class, pretty much everything is in the syllabus or online. And I'm so sorry, this semester is going to be a little crazy, and I'm sure you guys all know that. None of us want it to be, but it's just going to have to be a little bit flexible. As of right now, we are still listed as a hybrid with hopes that we can go back to in-person. If we ever can go back to in-person, which I do not think is likely this semester, if we feel like it's safe, which right now with our numbers, I don't. So we're not going to do it yet. And if we do ever go back, I have a feeling lecture would probably still stay pretty much online, and lab would be the only one where I would have you guys come in. But I don't think it'll get there this semester. But everything is in the syllabus. So we'll go over some of the stuff that's in the syllabus as well. Actually, let's do that now. We'll skip over to the syllabus. Actually, I'll skip over to Laulima so you guys can see it. Hopefully all of you are familiar with Laulima. I can only see a few of you right now, so you can just give me a thumbs up if you are familiar with Laulima, or if you're not. Either way, hopefully you are. But when you first come here, this is kind of what it should look like. I think this is your class. As a heads up, I teach 3 of these lectures and 2 of the labs. So if you get an email that says we're meeting Monday at 9:30 or Tuesday at 12:30 and it's not your regular class time, just know, I mean, you can let me know that I messed up, but just know that, like, I will never have you meeting outside of your regular class time except for service learning, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But service learning is normally going to be like a completely different time, like a Saturday morning or an afternoon or something like that. Okay, so keep that in mind if you get an email that has a wrong time in it or something like that, it's probably not correct. And feel free to email me, but just know your class time is Tuesday, Thursday at 9:30. I will be having office hours Monday and Thursday at 9:30. And it'll be here on Zoom at the same link unless we start getting a lot of Zoom bombers or something and I got to change the link. But for the most part, Monday, Thursday, 9:30 to 10:30, you can hop on anytime, ask questions. You can hop on and listen to see if other people are asking questions similar to what you're wondering. And I can make appointments with you if you want to talk one-on-one, or I might end up adding more office hours depending on if this works out. This is also my office hours for lab. So if that's not working out, if we need to add more, I can always do that. And I'll probably send you guys out some polls in the next week or 2 to kind of see how everyone's feeling about that. Okay. For the most part, this class is going to be asynchronous, meaning that you guys aren't normally going to have to be here at this time to meet with me over Zoom, or and we're probably not moving to in-person. I'm going to try to put everything online. I just wanted to meet you guys today. We will have some synchronous meetings, and I will give you plenty of heads up to let you know that we're having those. And if you have any issues, you can't make it, you're going to be late, whatever it is, please just email me as soon as you know that. Okay. So after overview, we'll go over to announcements. Sorry, my computer's been moving very slow. Most announcements, especially if it's something important or something has changed, I will also have it email you, but some of them I don't have it email you. So like I put up a service learning announcement, a YouTube channel announcement. I don't think those emailed you, or at least they shouldn't have. And that's just stuff for you to kind of know or be able to reference back to, but it isn't super important as of right now. Okay. And you can go down to start here, and we'll get, so this is our course website for LaunchPad. You can also access LaunchPad over here on the left side. So if you click LaunchPad, it will take you right to the sign-in page, but everything populates within Laulima. So you don't actually leave Laulima, you're just right here, and you can go in, continue to cite, and it'll actually take you to LaunchPad. But again, it's just right here, kind of in a smaller version. And we'll go over LaunchPad in a second. I know that's probably the majority of questions you guys have. But we'll go back to start here. So that's our course website. So other than Laulima, LaunchPad is the only other place you're really gonna have to look for stuff unless I send you specific links for videos to watch, or like labs or something like that to have an activity to do. Okay. And then syllabus. So we'll turn back to the syllabus here in just a second. Please mark that you have read the syllabus, and please actually read the syllabus. This does go into your grades as basically a form of participation. And then last, one of the most important ones probably for you guys is learning modules. So Unit 2, 3, and 4 are empty right now. Unit 1 is also fairly empty because I'm still working on it, trying to get everything up for you guys. But this is probably the best way for you guys to keep track of everything. Okay, so you'll kind of see a breakdown of what we're doing each week. So this week we're doing our intro, we're doing chapter 1, we're doing chapter 20. Next week we're doing chapter 21 and 22. So keep this in mind, we're not going directly like the book has us going. So we're actually switching it up a little bit. We're going over chapter 1 because it's important and it's kind of a foundation, but then we're gonna jump to some big ecosystem sustainability stuff. So it's kind of bigger picture stuff, and then we're gonna work our way into finer details throughout the semester. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going from chapter 1 to chapter 20. And you guys are gonna be able to keep up just fine. You're not missing anything too important in there, okay? Well, I mean, it's important, but you don't need to know it before you know the other stuff. So these are good checklists. You don't have to fill this out for me. This is for you. So this week, you do have a forum to introduce yourself. If you guys haven't seen it already, please do it by Friday night. Everything on Laulima will have a due date of 11:55 p.m. I can't make it any later. I don't know why. So everything is due at 11:55 p.m. So by Friday, please make sure you do this. It's a way for me to get to know you and for you guys to get to know each other. You guys do not have to reply to each other on this, but you might want to if you want to make friends or like little alliances in the class so you guys can work together. But just a way to get to know each other. This is probably going to be the only discussion forum I make you do. Other than that, we do have, if you go to forums, this is the introduce yourself. I see 6 of you have already done it, so thank you. And then you can ask questions and discuss here. It's a Q&A forum or a general discussion. So if you guys want to talk about stuff here, if you have questions you want to ask me that you think the whole group might want to know, definitely go here, ask the questions. If it's for me specifically or you're really wanting an answer from me, you might want to email me and let me know that you put it there. I will do my best to check them, but I don't know if it always notifies me. So you guys might want to just double check with me either right away, or if you don't hear back from me within like a day or something, then let me know, okay? So we'll go back to the learning module. So that's the forum. I probably won't have you guys do that very often. Whenever I take online classes, I hate discussion boards. If you guys like them or think that they're really useful, and they can be if you guys are actively participating and not just like kind of half-assing it for the grade that you have to get, which is what I would do. So use it if you want to, basically. Use it to connect with each other. I probably won't have you post on there very often, and when I do, you guys will definitely know about it, and it'll be related to something if it does happen. So again, use these checklists. You guys do have a lot due in this class, okay? So this class does move very quickly. We cover usually at least 1 chapter every class period, which means that we're covering 2 chapters a week. So we are going through a lot, and we're going through it fast. It's nothing that you can't keep up with. It's all very basic biology. Hopefully it's going to be fun for you, but it is a lot that's going on. And we'll talk about all the different things that you have, but basically each week you're going to have 2 chapters, which means that you'll have 2 lectures. I try to keep them kind of short. Sometimes they're a little longer, but usually somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes. And I usually recommend that you read the book before you listen to my lecture, but that's kind of up to you guys. Make sure you read the book. Make sure you listen to the lecture. Both of them are going to have quiz and test questions in them, especially my lectures probably. That's where you'll hear more of what you're going to get on a quiz or exam. But you will also get that in the book as well as through LaunchPad. So let me just introduce LaunchPad before I answer any questions about how you access it, because that's a question that we all have. So when you go to LaunchPad, it has the ebook, right? So you can read the ebook, but you also have what's called a learning curve and a quiz due with every single chapter. And part of the reason you guys are doing this is it's a good boost to your grade. So if you do all of them, it's easy points. It's an easy 10% of your grade that's like already at like 100%. Okay, if you miss a few, it's not going to impact your grade too much. So if for some reason you're really like stressed out one week and you're like, I just can't get everything done, skip these. Don't always do it, but if you have to, you can skip them when they're due, or let me know that you're going crazy and you have too much on your plate. As long as it's not a common thing, guys, I'm pretty understanding. I know that stuff is going absolutely insane right now. So if you're sick or something's happening, just let me know as soon as you possibly can. Okay, so LaunchPad, learning curve, and quizzes. A learning curve is pretty cool, and if you do really well on it, well, so when you do learning curve, you will always get 100%. The thing is, it asks you questions, and it's different for everyone. So if it asks you a question and you get it wrong, it asks you another question kind of on a similar subject, and it basically keeps going until you're getting them right. So if you're getting them right away, it's going to be a pretty quick and easy thing. If you keep getting them wrong, it's going to take you a while. But either way, you're always going to get 100% on that. The quiz, you won't always get 100% on unless you're really awesome. And that's okay. You're still going to get a decent number of points, and it's still going to help boost your grade. Okay. We will usually have 1 assignment or class activity due every week. Sometimes you might have 2. Usually I'm going to try to keep it to 1. And it's usually going to be due Friday by 11:55. Okay. LaunchPad is kind of all over the place when it's due. I try to give you guys some extra time. Really try to keep up with it. So these LaunchPads aren't due till next Friday, but we're going over chapter 1 technically today and chapter 20 on Thursday. So really you want to be done with them by Friday. That might not happen this week just because some of you don't have access to LaunchPad yet. Almost none of you should have access to LaunchPad yet. So that's okay. This might get pushed back a little bit. All of the LaunchPad due dates, let me go into LaunchPad really quick since we're talking about it so much. All of the LaunchPad due dates for the entire semester are all here, okay? So these will never change to an earlier date. They could change to a later date. So make sure you're keeping up with it. Make sure that you're remembering to do these. Like I said, they're a really good grade boost, but if you're not doing them, it also kind of hurts your grade, okay? So make sure that you're doing them. Again, remember, we're going from chapter 1 up here all the way down to chapter 20. So we're kind of skipping to the end here. And you can see all of the due dates that are in there already. Anything that's due within the next 7 days will automatically populate up here. Okay. Sorry, guys, I didn't realize that you guys were probably seeing the cameras over here. So anything that you need to have due, check here first. You can always see your grade book over here as well. And then you can access the ebook. The way that this goes is actually kind of nice because when you go through here, it kind of takes you through section by section. So you'll start with the introduction of the ebook and go through it. This chapter is all about the process of science, and it centers around coffee studies, which you guys will see. It's already up online on an online lecture if you guys haven't listened to it yet. So that's kind of all about LaunchPad. Again, I will get to how you guys access that because it's a little bit different. But make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're keeping up with it. There will be also a weekly quiz on Laulima. The weekly quiz will be due probably every Sunday night by 11:55. I don't think I'll change that. And that's going to be a quiz that's usually somewhere between 10 to 20 questions that I will ask based on your chapters. It will be maybe based off a little bit off of reading, mostly off the lecture, probably 95% off the lecture. And these quiz questions, take note of this, are very, very likely to come back on your exam. Okay, so make sure you understand them, make sure that you write them down, especially if you get them incorrect. The quiz you only have one shot at. Pretty much everything you have one shot at. But the quiz you have one shot at, it's not timed, you have as much time as you want, but please make sure that you're taking it once you're prepared. You guys can do it together if you guys want to get on a Zoom call together, if you want to be texting each other, whatever it is. I don't mind if you guys do it together as long as it's a two-way street. You guys need to be collaborating and thinking through things. If I see that two of you are working together and one of you is doing all your work and one of you is not, but somehow you both got 100 on the quiz, it's going to be a little bit of a red flag, right? And most of these questions are not things that you can Google. A lot of times if you Google the answer to it, you actually end up with the wrong answer. So please be careful with that. I would not recommend it. As of right now, I probably won't put controls on that make you not leave the screen, but if it looks like everyone is just completely ignoring the materials in lecture and going to Google, then I'll have to start like breaking it down where you guys can't leave Laulima basically, okay? So please just read through the stuff here. That's everything that you really want to know. Okay, so those are your checklists that you guys can do, and then it breaks it down even week by week here. Only week 1 is up right now. Week 2 isn't up yet, and I will work on getting that up in the next few days. But you can see everything that you'll need for week 1 here. So your intro slides are right here. So that's what we're going to be going over today. The Chapter 1 video lecture in the resources in Laulima, and then on YouTube. So these videos, you'll always have a copy in resources and always on YouTube, except for if it's a Zoom recording. So this recording will be too big for me to put on Laulima, so it will only be linked via YouTube. And you'll see it pop up here probably later today. But the videos are the same whether it's on YouTube or not. If you go to YouTube, my channel is Kwilly, it's just like my email. So you can go into here. I have more than one video. I don't know why it shows that. And you guys can go click on whatever video it is that you need to watch. And you can also use closed captioning, right? So if you are having a hard time understanding me, if you need that accommodation regularly anyways, these closed captions should be pretty good. I know I do talk really fast, especially because I'm just talking to myself on these lectures, so I'm probably even faster. So if you need to rewind it or use closed captioning, whatever you need to do, please do it. And if you have additional questions, come on office hours or email me and let me know. But everything that you'll need is here, and then everything that will be due will be right here, okay? And it's all linked on these pages, but you can always go into, oh, it's all the way down here, resources, and everything is here as well. So class activities, the keys for the class activities will be posted after they're due, so that you guys can see kind of how you'll always know your grade, but you might not get a lot of feedback, so you guys can kind of compare them and make sure that you understand it. And then the lecture slides, all about service learning, about your Kuleana paper, which we'll talk about in a second. Your video lectures, as well as the syllabus, are all here in resources, okay? So I'm gonna stop sharing just for a second. Does anyone have any questions about Laulima or any of the stuff we just went over? You can either turn on your mic and ask, or you can type it in the chat. No? Okay. Okay, guys. So I'll keep going. I will go back to sharing my screen. If you guys ever have a question, feel free to type it in the chat or just write it down and then ask it later. I know I'm going kind of fast. There's a lot to go over, but we'll keep doing it. So the syllabus here, guys, I know that's what we started on and then we jumped to Laulima. The syllabus is pretty straightforward. You guys can go through it and read it. I know you're all big boys and girls. It does have some of our overview of the course, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Obviously, stuff with COVID-19, we are not going to be going on campus, so it's not really as big of a deal for us as far as using the UH app, the Lumi site. But please, if you are going on campus, do use that app before you go and check in. Okay, I'm not going to go over anything else unless you guys have questions here. One of the important things that you guys can get to, other than what we have in the class, is at the very end, the course outline. But again, we'll talk about really quick just what you have due all the time. So quizzes, you'll have one weekly. It'll go over both the chapters that week or whatever it is that we did that week. These will be due on Sunday by, it's actually 11:55, sorry. You will have your LaunchPad assignments. You will have probably one class activity. There's an option that you'll have one per class, so 2 a week, but I'm going to try to keep it to 1. Some of them might be optional, where it's just like it's going to be an extra help to you for the exams. For the exams, you're going to have 4 exams. They're all going to be online. They're not cumulative, so each unit exam is just over that 1 unit, okay? And again, you're only going to have one chance for the exam, and the exam will be timed. So make sure before you enter into it that you understand everything pretty well, and you're not going to be searching for answers for the entire exam. Okay. Okay. So the last 2 things that we have that you guys haven't really heard about are service learning and our Kuleana final paper. And I'll talk more about the Kuleana final paper and service learning here in just a second. As far as attendance and participation, obviously both of them are really important. Attendance, you're not really going to have to attend too many things, but when you do, please be there and be actively participating. Our grades are going to be pretty standard. They're going to be 90 as an A, 80 as a B, that kind of thing. You need at least a D to pass unless your major requires something else, like a C or over. Here's your weighting of the grades. So class activities and participation, that's 20% of your grade. So it's quite a bit. You definitely want to focus on this. Your Laulima quizzes are 10%, which again, these are what you're going to see on your exams. So make sure that you're understanding those, even if you're getting them wrong, that you're understanding them and maybe saving them or writing them down, whatever it is. LaunchPad total is 10% of your grade. Service learning is 20%. Your unit exams are 20%, and your final paper that you're going to be turning in is also 20%. Okay. Once you get to the end here, and obviously with classroom behavior, oh, sorry, I don't know why this is all messed up right now. With classroom behavior, please guys, just be nice to each other, treat each other like humans. I mean, you guys should know classroom behavior. There shouldn't be any cheating or plagiarism. It is glaringly obvious when those things happen. So please don't do it. This class is difficult to keep up with and can be difficult because it is a science class, and a lot of you are probably not super into science, but you should pretend you are. But that's okay. It's not going to be that hard to get through as long as you actually put in the time to do it. So this is another thing, it is subject to change, but at the very end, your course outline, this kind of tells you what we have going on each class or what you can expect each week, and your reading homework. So in theory, today you would have read chapter 1, and you would be reading chapter 20 so that you would be prepared for Thursday when we go over chapter 20, which is population ecology. I know none of you have read it yet, and I know none of you are probably even going to get to read it by Thursday. That's okay. You still have plenty of time. At least listen to the lectures and keep up with as much as you possibly can for right now. Okay? Okay. Let me stop sharing one more time. Any questions over the syllabus? No? Okay. Oh, sorry. There's something in the chat. Hold on one second. Yeah, so anytime the class activities might also be called assignments. I tried not to confuse that, but assignment 1 is the same as class activity 1. Okay. And you might see that on the labs too, like lab 1 might be called assignment 1. Same thing. I know that gets kind of confusing. I try not to label them that way, but Laulima usually doesn't let me change those names sometimes. So sometimes it's just called assignment and I can't do anything about it. So if it's called assignment, it's a class activity for lecture. Okay, okay guys, let's keep going. I know this is a lot of information. Okay. Okay, so for the class, let's go over kind of a general overview of what it's going to look like. As like a disclaimer, I am from mainland. I've been here about 10 years, so I definitely do not know a ton about Hawaiian culture, language. I'm still learning, but whether you're Native Hawaiian, whether you're local here, whether you just moved here yesterday, you are in Hawaii and you are learning here. So I do think that culture should be a big part of your education. So for this class, I am trying to incorporate more Ike Hawaii. It's a kind of a push from the university as well. But we're going to try to incorporate Ike Hawaii into what we have going on in the course so that hopefully, one, it's a little bit more practical to you because it's something that you can apply to your everyday life here, as well as what you see around you. So hopefully it's just going to make you a little bit more aware. And going over an overview of the course, so our like big concept, we're learning introductory biology, guys. So it's essentially life. Like you're learning all sorts of aspects of life. You're learning about the environment, you're learning about your health, you're learning about your body, you're learning about genetics, you're learning about evolution. We're covering a whole bunch of stuff, but only like the surface of each of those things. So our big concept is life. And you'll see I've got kind of all the white text here is English. And then in Olelo, we have the black text, right? So our big concept is also referred to as our Mana'o Nui for this class. And these don't directly translate. This is, again, kind of almost more for me, but for you guys to kind of understand the overview of the class. So our Mana'o Nui for this class is going to be Kuleana. Kuleana is not life, and I know that, and hopefully you guys know that too. So Kuleana is responsibility, right? And it's even greater than responsibility. It's like you personally taking responsibility for different things in your life that you can control. So that's one of the reasons why your final paper is called your Kuleana paper, is because in this class, what I really want you guys to be able to take away, I don't need you to know, for the exams and stuff, you're going to need to know a lot of the details. But ultimately, what I want you taking away are these big concepts. And with this class, I really want you guys to be able to take away what your Kuleana is from the class. So what is your responsibility, something that you learned that you can apply to your life, that you can apply to your family, that you can apply to the way that you live your life, whatever it might be. So as we go through this semester, kind of think about what your Kuleana is as it relates to the biological concepts we're learning. So in this first unit, we'll get into it in just a second, but we're going to be learning about big ecosystems. So we're going from a big spot and then working our way kind of lower throughout the semester. So we're learning about ecosystems, we're learning about sustainability, climate change, all of that good stuff. So what is your Kuleana in that aspect? So be thinking about that because that's going to go into your final paper at the end. Okay. The intent for this semester, your Mana'o Ho'oko, is that you're going to be able to understand and apply all of these general biological concepts that you're learning and take responsibility to improve your life, your family's life, and all of your surroundings. And then content and skills, our Kumahana Ha'avina, is down here, and that's just everything we're doing, right? And I have it listed as hybrid. It's probably just going to be online, but we'll remain optimistic. Okay. So as a general overview for the course, in addition, it's going to be kind of running like we would in an ahupua'a. Okay, so you guys probably all know ahupua'a, but it's basically a land section, right? It's self-sustaining, wedge-shaped land, runs from the mountain to the sea. In this course, we're going to kind of be working our way backwards. So we're actually going to be starting down here. We're going to be starting more so on land and sea. And we're going to learn about how we fit into these ecosystems and how we can sustain them. And then we're going to kind of move up into the lo'i. Okay, so this is where our word will then be kalo. And this is when we're going to be learning about all the basics of life. So we're going to be learning about cells, we're going to be learning about chemistry, nutrition, photosynthesis, respiration, all the basic biological building blocks that we need for life. And then we're going to kind of move over to where we are and we're going to start discussing genetics. Right? So we're going to start within the basics, and then we're going to move our way up into simple and complex inheritance, which is how you inherit certain traits from your families, and you're going to be able to understand your mo'oku auhau, so your genealogical story. You guys will actually do like an activity with that as well. If you can trace your genealogy and your traits, which some of you might not be able to, and that's okay. We'll get there when we get there, and I'll tell you guys what you guys are doing. And then lastly, our very last unit here is we're going to be going over evolution, and we're going to do it kind of within the context of Kumulipo, which is the Hawaiian creation chant. So you're going to be kind of at the top of the mountain, technically where the gods are, looking down on everything that you've learned throughout the semester, all the biological concepts that are going to kind of come together. And again, as we go through each of these, think about what your kuleana is and how it applies to these biological concepts. Okay. And again, guys, I don't know everything. I'm learning a lot. I'm trying to learn a lot, especially for this stuff. So if there's things that I'm saying incorrectly or that you know more about or you want to add to it, please, please do. I want to learn as well. And I'm probably most well-versed in sustainability, but these are your 4 units for this semester. So we have sustainability, then we're going to move on to the building blocks, cells, then we're going to go into genetics and evolution. Just so you guys know, these 2 units here in the middle are probably the most difficult. Okay, so we're going to start off with arguably, I would say, the easiest unit, and then it's going to get a little bit more difficult as the semester goes on. So make sure you're keeping up, make sure you understand your class activities, make sure you come to office hours, whatever you need to do to make sure that you really understand the material. Okay. Okay. So we went over this. This is your grade distribution you guys have seen. So again, your final paper, exams, service learning, and class activities are really the bulk of what you have here. So make sure that you're really doing well on those. And then these guys are more so to boost your grade and make sure that you're prepared for this stuff. Okay. Laulima, we went over. It looks a little bit different than that picture. Okay, the textbook. What you guys are all probably wondering. So in theory, you all are part of IDAP, and you should have, let me actually stop sharing for a second. Did any of you guys get an email from UH explaining that you are enrolled in IDAP for this course and how to opt out and how to do everything? Okay, a couple people got it, most of you didn't. Please check your spam to make sure that you didn't get it or that you did get it. So the way this should work, it should be really easy. You are automatically charged for the book, basically, and you should get a link to it so that you go to LaunchPad and you register, and that's it. It's super easy. The problem is IDAP is a little bit new to the university, and the university did not register our class. So I've been trying to work with them to get it registered. It hasn't happened yet. I still don't have a lot of answers. They're working on it as of late last night, or really over the whole weekend, but I'm hoping it'll be up today, and I will either make a quick video and send it out or send out a really detailed email. But basically, let me share my screen one more time. Well, it'll probably be more than one more time. Basically, what should happen, now I can't get out of here. Okay. What should happen with the IDAP is you should be able to go here, this vital source for UH West, down here on Laulima. You should be able to click that. Let's see, I haven't checked it this morning to see what it does. And it should show up with a textbook. So yeah, right now we have nothing associated with our course because they have not given it to us. Normally it would show up with a textbook link, or like it'll say LaunchPad, and it should give you a code. The other thing that might happen, depending on who fixes our solution first, is that this company, Vital Source, might individually email each of you a code. So that code is what you would put into LaunchPad. Okay. I know some of you are already registered for LaunchPad. Can you raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you paid for it already? Okay, a couple of you. Okay, I'm working on it. If you did pay for it, it's not really a big deal. You can opt out of this IDAP, which again, you should have gotten in an email. I will also try to send you information on how to opt out. If it turns out that it's easier, we might try to like get you a refund and just put you through IDAP. It's a huge mess, and I'm so sorry that you guys have to deal with it, but just bear with me. Everything will work out. Everything will be fine. If you already have access to LaunchPad, obviously you're welcome to start getting started on stuff. If you access it and you just have the free trial, you guys can keep going on the free trial for the next 2 weeks, but make sure that you put in your code before then. As of right now, the first assignments aren't due till next Friday, which is the 4th. That might get extended depending on how long this takes to kind of figure out. I want to make sure that you guys have enough time. But once it is figured out, definitely catch up with it as soon as you can, because this stuff all kind of gets piled on the longer and longer it goes on. Okay, so sorry for LaunchPad right now. I don't have very many answers, and I know that sucks, but it will come hopefully today. Okay. Any questions over that in the meantime that I know the answer to or possibly know the answer to? Okay. Okay, guys, let's go back to screen sharing and finish up this PowerPoint. Okay. Okay. Oh, and if you want, so it obviously comes with an ebook. If you would like a hard copy, the way it comes is as a loose leaf. So you need to get a 3-ring binder and put it in there. I think it's like another 40 or 50 bucks to buy it. Honestly, if you can read off of a computer and the way LaunchPad is set up, I would say to not bother with it. But if you do want it or you need it for some reason, you need to contact the bookstore and they can get it to you. If you have issues with that, please email me, but they should be able to work it out with you. Okay, LaunchPad, we went over, you guys saw. I know there's still questions and a lot of you haven't logged in, but we'll get there this week, hopefully in the next couple days. Okay, service learning. So service learning is, I think, one of the coolest parts of this course. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do it like we normally would. So normally we all get together and we plant native trees and we clean up the beach and we do all this cool stuff. We probably can't do any of that. So the way this is going to look is going to be a little bit different, but I'm still going to have it as a requirement just because I do think it is like a cool part. And this is especially one of the ways that we're going to be able to infuse a little bit more Ike Hawaii into the class. And you're going to have cultural practitioners talking. I think I'm going to have someone talking on La'alapa'al, so like herbal medicines and stuff using native plants. Our very first service learning, if you guys want to write this down, it's also listed as an announcement, but the very first one is going to be on a Saturday morning. Sorry guys, that's usually when we do these things anyways. So it's going to be on a Saturday morning over Zoom. It's at, I think, 9 a.m. So it'll be from like 9 to 10:30. Someone from Fish and Wildlife, Narissa, is going to be speaking on how to use traditional ecological knowledge to observe the natural environment. So she'll be speaking. You guys need to be present for that if you do want to attend it. You don't need to tell me you're attending it or sign up. You just need to be there that morning. I will send out the link for it so you guys can get on. Again, Saturday, September 19th at 9 a.m. via Zoom. There will be some like little write-up or activity associated with it. So you might have to go grab sand from the beach or go outside and look at clouds, whatever it is. I don't know yet. It also depends on what's legal at that point. So I will give you guys more information as it comes, but just make sure that you write that date down so that hopefully you can kind of be free for it. So for service learning, there's going to be at least 4 options for you, right? Maybe more, maybe 4, I don't know yet. But out of those 4, you have to attend 2, okay? If you attend 3, the third one is extra credit. So you'll get 20 points of extra credit and you'll get it in the service learning category, which if you guys remember is 20% of your grade. So it's kind of a big deal. So if you can, go for 3. If you go for all 4 or 5 or however many we have, there's no extra credit for attending the other ones. You just get that extra credit for the third. But say you're really interested, because I'm sure it'll be interesting, you guys are welcome to always come to them, but you've got to attend at least 2. Okay. So missing class or assignments, obviously there's not too many classes that you guys are going to have the opportunity to miss, but if you're running late or you're missing assignments or anything like that, please just let me know as soon as possible. Okay, it is your responsibility to keep track of things. If you have certain accommodations that you need, please keep reminding me, let me know. I'm more than happy to work with you guys. I know that stuff is crazy this semester. If you do get sick, if anyone in your family is sick, even if it's not COVID, I pray it's not COVID, but just let me know. We can work stuff out. I don't want you falling behind. I don't want it to be a regular thing, but we can always work stuff out if you let me know beforehand. If you come to me a week later, it's a little bit harder to work with you guys, okay? Office hours, sorry, this is the wrong time. It is 9:30 to 10:30 as of right now. It might change depending on what you guys like or if we need to add more. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, obviously office hours is like the best way to contact me if you have questions, because we can actually discuss it. There might be other people online, but you can always email me too or use those forums to kind of talk to each other. Okay, any questions over anything we just went over? I know it was a lot. Questions over service learning? Nothing? Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. It's going to be a fun semester. I'm going to try to make it as fun of a class as I can, especially with it being online, but do keep on top of everything. One more thing to say about it. I know that we have a crazy political climate right now, and we have the election, and I hope you all are voting no matter who it is for. A lot of this stuff in this class is really, none of it is meant to be political. Okay, like we're gonna start talking about climate change in this unit. None of it is political. I'm not telling you which way to vote or anything like that, just as a disclaimer. Unfortunately, a lot of these things, like we'll talk about vaccinations, a lot of these things have turned political. I'm just gonna give you the science side of it, and you guys can make decisions off of that. The science side of me is gonna tell you what I believe is correct based on science. So never take it as a political argument or anything like that. If you guys ever want to discuss, not politics, I'm not into that, but if you guys ever want to discuss something, if you think that I'm wrong or whatever, feel free, like let's argue and discuss it. That's totally fine. As long as it doesn't get into politics, I'm not into that. But please don't ever take it as like a political attack or anything, because we're not doing that. Okay? Okay, guys, so if there's no questions, I do want to have you guys introduce yourselves really quick. There is a possibility that you guys will be collaborating with each other. You guys do have a lot of stuff due in this class, especially class activities, quizzes, and exams. Those are all three things, and labs, that you guys are probably going to want to check with each other. You can always ask me, especially in office hours, how you're doing, or like if you're on the right track for certain questions. But if you email me all the time and are like, is this right? I'm not going to have time to do that, guys. Like there's almost 100 of you guys between all my classes. I can't respond to all of those emails telling you whether it's right or wrong. So please like work with each other. And if you have questions, come to office hours, let's discuss it, get you to the place where you're at the right answer and you understand it. But get to know each other in this class. You guys can do it on the forums, over here in the group chat. If you guys can see, I don't think anyone has messaged everyone yet, but you guys can message each other. You guys can give each other your phone numbers or your emails or however you guys want to connect. Doesn't matter to me, but you probably want to start making some friends that you can kind of rely on throughout this class. Okay, and if you guys put your phone numbers over there, I'm not going to save them or do anything with them. You guys can message them to each other privately, whatever you want to do, but start to get to know your classmates. So right now I'm going to have you guys just do a brief introduction. I basically want your name, so whatever you want to go by. If your name is Kelly, but you would rather go by Kel, whatever it is, tell me what your name is. Let me know what your major is and why what you're excited for in this class. I know every single one of you is not a science major. You shouldn't be a science major, so you're probably not super excited for this class, but pretend to be, because I have to grade you. So you guys have to start sucking up a little bit. Just kidding. But tell me what you're excited for in this class. Pick something that you've heard about or that you think you could be excited for. And then tell me something like a little interesting about you. Like, I don't know, like I scuba dive. Okay, whatever it is, just something really quick that can kind of help me remember you. If you have a camera and can turn it on when you talk, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay. And I'll have you guys pass it to each other. So I'm gonna pass it to the first person who is next to me on my screen, which is Maverick. Maverick, after you go through and say your stuff, just choose someone else on the screen and you guys can go through kind of quick. Okay? Go for it.
Well, hi everyone, my name is